Why don't you get NHS sponsorship? This is what I'm going to talk about in this video. And as part of this, I'll be sharing with you some solutions to get the sponsorship you are looking out for. So come with me and then let's talk about it. Alright, welcome back. My name is Estak Majima. You can simply call me Kobe. If today is your first time seeing my channel, I officially welcome you and I want to say a happy new year to you. Or I believe that every content I share on here will go a long way to help you. So don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and above all, don't forget to share my video so that other people may benefit from it as well. Before I dive into talking about this topic, what I want to say is that I'm not an expert. I am not a recruitment agent, neither am I an employer in the UK, getting people from abroad to come and work in here. But I'm only sharing this based on my experience. I'm only sharing this based on what I've read. I'm only sharing this based on what I've heard. So what I would say is that whatever you hear in this video may not be 100% credible. But I will say that just visit the UK GAP's website and then try and then make research for yourself. So that at least if you want to act on the content of this video, you may know that it's 100% credible. Alright, so I've been hearing people say that they want to work in the UK as nurses, as senior carers, as doctors, and whatever profession, but they are not getting NHS sponsorship. And the sponsorship in such a way that they are going to pay for your flight, they are going to pay for most of the stuff that will possibly get you in here. So if you don't get sponsorship, what happens here is that you are going to incur a lot of cost, and most people cannot bear this financial burden. So if they are looking out for jobs, they are looking out for those that will give them sponsorship that they wouldn't have to spend much. And nowadays, most people are not getting the sponsorship they are looking out for. And for me, I think it's as a result of some factors or some reasons, which I'm going to talk about in this video. So the very first reason why you may not get an NHS sponsorship to come in here and work is for the fact that, you see, not all job roles offer sponsorship. You see, there are UK job sites. We have Track Jobs, we have Indeed.com, and a whole lot. Not every job you see on this site is giving sponsorship. Before the job offers you sponsorship, what happens here is that it must meet the Home Office requirement for skill level and then salary threshold. So what I would advise you do is that before you start applying for any job on Track Jobs or Indeed.com, the first thing you've got to do is to try and then read the job overview. Most of the job requirements will specify that they are not looking out for overseas applicants. So if you do apply as an overseas person, then you're not going to get it because they can't offer you sponsorship. Try and see if they are willing to give you sponsorship, because most of this job overview will specify that in there. The second reason why I think you may not get an NHS sponsorship as an overseas person is possibly for the fact that if the role you are applying for is not on the shortage occupation list, probably you may not get a sponsorship. I had a friend who mentioned to me that he wants to come in here and then do what we call the pharmacy technician. Now the question is this job role found on the shortage occupation list? So I will say that before you apply for any role, whether you're a nurse, you're a midwife, whether you want to come as a senior carer, or whichever role you want to come in here and then work for in the NHS, you've got to visit the UK government's website. Search if that vacancy is on the shortage occupation list, because if it is, then it's possible that you're going to get sponsorship from the employer or the institution you'll be sending your application to. So that is something I want to say. And the third reason is quite intriguing. I was doing a bit of research and I got to realize that, you see, not all NHS employers or not all NHS trusts are eligible to give sponsorship to overseas applicants. So what I want to say is that one of the reasons why you may not get NHS sponsorship is for the fact that you are applying to an NHS trust or healthcare employer that is not licensed to give sponsorship. Okay, so that is something you have to take into consideration. That's why I advise that before you hit the apply section, you've got to ensure that you have read the job overview and then you are sure that this trust or this hospital or institution is looking out for overseas applicants and that they can give you sponsorship. And I also got to realize that they normally have to consider the cost of giving COH. So I want to read something on here. It says sponsorship involves fees, including the certificate of sponsorship, which is COH, and immigration skills surcharge, which some employers may avoid due to budget constraints. Okay, so the bottom line of this is that whatever job you want to apply for, please ensure that you are looking out for the job overview. You are just reading every bit of it to see if you can be offered a sponsorship. And the other reason I got to realize was about competition and quotas. I would want to read something on here so that you understand what I'm talking about. So it says that preference for local candidates Employers are required to prioritize candidates already eligible to work in the UK unless there's a shortage. The bottom line of this is that whatever job you want to apply for, as I mentioned earlier, go to the UK's shortage occupation list. So let's say you're a pharmacist or a physiotherapist and you want to come to the UK to work. The question is there a vacancy? Is this occupation on the shortage occupation list? If not, then possibly it will be very difficult to get sponsorship. Okay. Above all the other reasons I've talked about, sometimes individual applications can also prevent you from getting NHS sponsorship. And one of them is insufficient experience or qualification. You see, before you apply for the job, you should ensure that you meet the criteria. Normally, when you read the job overview, they specify the essential criteria you have to meet, the qualification you need to hold, and then the number of experience you should have to be able to apply for that job. So if you haven't met that qualification, or if you don't have that experience and you apply, it will be very difficult for that NHS trust or employer to give you sponsorship. So you have to also assess your experience and then qualification. And one other thing is incomplete or incorrect application. You see, errors in your documentation. If you are applying for jobs, on-track jobs, you are required to write what you call a supporting information. It's much more like a CV, selling yourself to the employer. If you don't possibly document this stuff so well, you may end up not getting the job because the employer may presume you don't qualify or you don't meet the essential criteria, or when you are given the job you underperform. And I don't think any employer will employ somebody who will come in and then underperform. So be very mindful of that. Make sure that your supporting statement is on point. You are doing the application right, putting the right information on there, selling yourself out, proving to the employer that you are the right candidate for the job. All these things can possibly help. Okay, so these are the few reasons why you may not get NHS sponsorship. But the question is, what can you do to rectify some of these things? So I've said a couple of them early on, but I'm just going to brush through a few ones so that at least you know what to do. So the very first solution you can consider is to target shortage occupation roles. Okay, so if let's say you want to come here and work as a nurse, the question is this role found on the shortage occupation list? If it is, then it's an indication that the UK is looking now for people from overseas to come and fill up. So what they've said is that focus on applying for roles like nurses, doctors and allied health professionals which are on the shortage occupation list. Okay, so yeah, I also advise that you research sponsoring employers. So as I said, not all NHS trusts are required to or are certified to give sponsorship. Okay, so what I want to say is that try to make research about NHS trusts and employers that are offering sponsorship. You can do this with the help of Google and all those stuff. Okay, yeah, you can do this with ChatGPT as well, and they can outline all the agencies or all the employers that are giving sponsorship, and you can reach out to them. And I also say that enhance your profile. So gain qualification and experience that meets the NHS standard, such as passing your CBT, especially if you're a nurse or a midwife or a healthcare professional, and then you want to work in the NHS. You've got to ensure that at least you are working out on some of the requirements. Enhancing your profile and all those stuff. And I also advise that you use recruitment agencies. I know for now most recruitment agencies are not active, they are not recruiting directly. I know a friend who reached out to this agency and then they were able to help. Okay, so what I want to say is that just Google. Some agencies are specialized in connecting overseas candidates with NHS employers willing to sponsor. So just Google, reach out to them, email them, send them your cover letter and all those stuff, and then see what they have to say. For all you know, they may have an NHS trust recruiting and they're willing to sponsor, and then they can link you up. And I also advise that you have to stay updated on immigration rules. The UK frequently updates immigration policies, so stay informed to understand the new pathways or changes that has to do with sponsorship criteria. So for me, these are the stuff that I can talk you through, and I believe that if you can sit and then ponder over them and see where you fall short, you can possibly get an NHS sponsorship and you come in here without paying a penny. I believe that this video are giving a bit of insight of where you fall short and that you're going to act on them. If this video has been very helpful, I believe that there are others out there who are willing to hear this. So don't forget to share, and also don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you become part of the family. And moreover, ensure to like. Thank you very much. Hope to see you in my next video. Bye.